Judith Orloff, MD, is the author of the New York Times bestseller Emotional Freedom. Liberate yourself from negative emotions and transform your life. It's now available in hardback and paperback. In this particular book, she discusses how dreams can transform your life and emotions as well. An assistant clinical professor of psychiatry at UCLA, she synthesizes the pearls of traditional medicine with cutting-edge knowledge of intuition and energy medicine. She's a friend of myself, a friend of Agape. She's spoken at Agape many times, been in our Revelation Conference, and she has presented all around the United States and all around the world. And she's a wonderful being. She's an intuitive. She's on a spiritual path. She's awakened on so many deep levels. Judith, welcome to Wake Up the Sound of Transformation.
Thank you. I'm very excited to talk to you.
It's always good to be in your space. You emanate a tremendous amount of love and caring and compassion. And you're a medical doctor, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, so thank you. I think all medical doctors need to emanate care and compassion.
Right. A little bedside manner with compassion and kindness goes a long way towards healing.
Oh my God, it goes such a long way. We need to have that energy field around us when we're healing in terms of love and caring. Without that, it's not really going to happen.
Right. That energy field that you're talking about, you know this firsthand. And for those individuals who have not heard Judith Orloff before, can you give us a thumbnail sketch of your particular journey and how you ended up being where you are today?
Yeah, so I'm a psychiatrist. I'm an MD. I've gone through 14 years of medical training, but I'm also an intuitive. And so I combine intuition with all my traditional medical knowledge. So when I listen to my patients, or what I write about is how to combine the linear, the logical, with your intuitions, listening to your gut, listening to any aha feelings, listening to what moves you, what inspires you, listening to your dreams in the unseen realm and the realm of spirit. As a psychiatrist, there's always three people in the room. When I'm working with a patient, there's me, and then there's the patient, and there's the spirit. So it's not as if I ever work alone. So that's so much a part of how I practice as a psychiatrist. And what I'm teaching people, in terms of listening, because in our over-intellectualized society, we've just put so much emphasis on the mind that we've forgotten about the heart and about spirit, which is so much larger than the mind. And so my mission is really to help people ignite that in themselves, ignite the remembering capacity, remembering that what intuition can bring, remembering our spirits are so large. It's not just this human form. It's something more than this, too, while we're here. So, I came from a family of 25 physicians, and as a child...
25 physicians?
25 physicians.
That's a long lineage.
It's a long lineage of scientific thinkers.
Right.
And I was a little girl who had premonitions about things. I would predict deaths and illnesses and earthquakes, and so my parents would get afraid, and they finally forbade me to ever mention my intuitions at home. So I grew up believing there was something wrong with me. So as a psychiatrist, and as a woman, it's been so liberating for me having found my voice and being able to share it freely.
Outstanding. And I know you've been on the program before, so I know individuals who have heard us before have heard your particular story of finally breaking free and being able to access this dimension of your own life. And we're going to get to that in a moment, because some of that came from deep dream state that you had.
Oh, yes.
But before we get into that, I know your book, Emotional Freedom, it focuses on how to be emotionally free. Can you give a description on what does it mean to be emotionally free?
Being emotionally free means being able to have a choice about how you respond to people, to situations, and responding from that centered, spirit-driven place rather than just reacting like most people do.
Right. We talk about that a lot at Agape, that you develop the capacity to have responsibility, which is the ability to respond to a higher energy field, whether you call that energy field God or love or beauty or joy, rather than reacting to the temporary circumstances. So in your that's emotional freedom. That's liberation.
Totally. That is emotional freedom. And I want to say you can't wait for other people to do it. You have to be the one to do it in an interaction.
Absolutely. Many people are holding themselves hostage thinking that someone else has the key to their emotional freedom, but it's them. It's their inner practice and resolve and intentionality that allows themselves to learn how to respond. How can I know you have different practical secrets to empower individuals in attaining this kind of freedom. How would you invite a person to enter into this?
Well, number one, you have to make a commitment not to lead a fear-driven life. That has to be a basic philosophy. That you're going to do your best throughout a lifetime not to succumb to fear. Because if that isn't your basic philosophy, then it's going to be very difficult to deal with emotions, because fear is such a teacher for us here in the earth plane, that it's such a major teacher that you have to be committed to not letting it drive your life and be very conscious about it, because it's very sneaky. It can come in all kinds of ways in your life. Yeah,
and individuals, though, that's some people are addicted to fear. They live a fear-driven life, and the different kind of toxic chemicals that flow through their body that that impede their immune system. People are addicted to that kind of rush, and so it's difficult to break out of that fear-driven life, though, isn't it?
Well, it is, but if you want to be free, you have to. You see,
I'm with you.
And it's about, in emotional freedom, I want to give people the experience of what it is to be free. Don't just take my word for it, because there's the life that's fear-driven. You can experience that, then compare it with something else and see which one you like.
Right. Now, you're inviting people to actually reprogram the actual biology of their emotions.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm talking about emotional evolution. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about getting beyond the reptilian brain that's survival-based and getting to, more of a spiritual consciousness on how to deal with things. And it takes effort. I mean, any kind of evolution takes a desire to evolve and to be something larger than what our poor world is in, to be the individual who creates the change. And part of that is not being fear-driven. And another thing I talk about in the book is, how to deal with people, how to communicate, how do you read people? How can your intuition help you read people in order to communicate with more empathy and not just go on the surface? How do you deal with emotional vampires, the people who suck you dry? How do you deal with difficult people so that you could own that interaction and you're not just stuck on a low level, of tit for tat or I'll get you or anger? We have to raise the vibration up. And that's what I want to do in the book. And that's what dreams can do. I mean, dreams and intuition. Intuition is the inner wisdom that goes beyond the linear mind. We have the linear mind. We have the intuition. Dreams are part of that intuition.
Right. You really emphasize the fact that dreams play an important part in this role. Continue to talk more about it, because I know you're a lover of dreams. And why I am too. But why is this such a large part of your book? I know, the dream state to me is as important as the waking state. Ricky and I, we often share in the mornings what our dreams were and assist with our interpretation. And sometimes they're premonitions, sometimes it's a prophetic situation, sometimes it's a guidance, sometimes Ricky's pulling music and new songs, sometimes I'm pulling insight that's going to ultimately be spoken from in one of my classes or at Agape. But it's very powerful, so really bring us into the importance of that, and it's a big part of your book, so obviously it's important to you.
Oh, dreams. I think of all the things that I'm good at in life, I would say the number one thing is that I'm a dreamer, and that's the most important thing to me, because I could only really tolerate being awake for so long.
That's funny.
It's too much for me. It gets, I love it, and I've accepted the challenge of being awake in here and dealing with everything. But I can't do it for too long. I have to dream. Dreaming balances me. Getting out of my linear mind and traveling to other realms in the sleep state, it's extremely essential to my own well-being. And I get really kind of irritable and frayed and tired of being here. I mean, some nights I'm just tired of it. So I want to surrender into the dream realm.
Right.
And get fed there. And I want to emphasize this. It's not just me. This is for everyone. Every night we have these revolutionary states of consciousness called dreams and sleep. Most people take them for granted.